So the Fluffy Poodle and I are over here at Dragon's King Daughter getting ready to do an interview. An interview with Miss Jessica right here. Miss Jessica's wonderful, a major part of the community in Hardin County. I would definitely highly recommend you check her out and all the great things that she does. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this awesome episode. And Daniel the Big O and the Fluffy Poodle down below interviewed him with Miss Jessica.
Thank you for meeting with me.
Well, I appreciate it. It was nice seeing you again. I haven't seen you for a couple days since the last Chamber of Commerce meeting.
Yeah, that was a good time.
It was a good time, especially for a lot of those veterans in our community and really representing them in our local area. I also won a gift card. It was amazing, and I got to use that for duck hunting. And if you haven't watched our videos lately, we've been doing a lot of duck hunting, so definitely check out those videos.
I figured you might have been.
Yeah, always.
So thinking about, when you first came out of the military, what was the biggest challenge you faced coming from military to civilian life?
The biggest challenge that a lot of, not just myself, but people all around the world, veterans, they face is trying to find their purpose again. When we're in the military, our purpose is given to us. I mean, when I say it's given to us, our purpose is either complete a mission or take care of soldiers to complete a mission. But when we get out the military, we don't have any more soldiers and we don't have any more missions. So what is it? So for a very long time, I struggled with a lot of negative thoughts in my mind, thoughts about ending life and thoughts of, can I do this? I can't do this because my arms don't work. Can I do this? No, I can't do this. So it's really trying to get out there and dabble in anything and everything you can to find how you can give back and add value and get that camaraderie and get that really true purpose that we had of, being heroes and, taking care of our country, getting that back again in the regular civilian lifestyle.
I'm sure that was a challenge,
It was a major challenge. For many years, I lived in isolation, just like those Vietnam veterans did. And they didn't want to leave their house. I didn't want to leave my house because before it was more of a, I didn't feel like I was up to standard like everybody else in my community. Before, you're the top of the line. You're the 1% that takes care of our nation. And when you get out, you don't have to do that no more. So it's like, what do I do? You go and you be a manager at some places and you dabble in other areas, and it doesn't feel like our mission is that important as it was before. So I struggled severely.
So what are some of the most important lessons you've learned through that about perseverance and mental toughness?
I learned a lot of lessons, and there were a lot of hard lessons. A lot of veterans, we struggle with alcohol and drug addiction and, other types of vices or doing, high risk activities, skydiving, or doing 120 mile an hour down the highway, and to us, it's like get that adrenaline back again. And I learned something from Mr. Rod Rodriguez. He's the GWAT. GWAT is the Global War on Terrorism Foundation over in Washington, D.C. Mr. Rod Rodriguez, he said a sentence to me that really took to my heart. And he said, Daniel, it's okay to struggle. And I looked right at him and said, really? It's okay to struggle? He said, yes. And I said, are you sure? And he said, look around. Everybody struggles. Most people just hide it better than others. So with that being said, I want you to know that I don't want you to end your life, and I don't want you to keep struggling like you were, because it would be a disservice to those soldiers who didn't make it back home. It would be a disservice to them if you did end your life, because they would love to have the opportunity that you have right now. So I thought about that for a very long time, and I still struggled, and then one day it hit me. Like, yeah, it's the truth. I can't end my life, and I have to tell my story. I use my story as a voice for people that don't want to tell their story and the people who can't tell their story yet. I use my voice to help others, to let people know that you're not alone. You're not alone with what you're going through. And in the end, we have to live our life to our fullest. So during that mental toughness, to answer that in very shortly, I don't have a short answer because everybody's going to learn it at a different time in life. But I learned mine from a very important and a very good friend, Mr. Rod Rodriguez, who I talk with quite often. And every time I see him, I definitely give him that hug and give him that big smile that we both know how our lives impacted each other.
So how did your disability shape your perspective on resilience and overcoming adversity?
My disabilities really helped shaped a lot of my resilience because, believe it or not, my whole neck is replaced and my arms will never work properly. So sitting at a desk for, a period of time or doing hard manual labor, my arms go numb after about 30 seconds. So it really bothers me, and it bothered me for a very long time to understand that I can be resilient. But how can I? And for a long time, I understood that there's some things that I can't do. That doesn't mean that I can't try. So, for example, if my son comes up to me and he says, "Hey, Dad, can you want to play catch with a football?" I'm going to look at him and on the inside, I'm going to say no. But we don't know if the Lord up above, if he said, "Hey, today you can throw a football," or what if I can throw it 10 feet? What if I can throw it 20 feet? What if I can throw it 5 times? But I want to show them that I can try. And with my disabilities, it really showed me that no matter what I've been through, no matter what I've gone through, I can still follow my dreams. Because remember, you can't change the past, but you truly can change the future.
That's awesome. That's strong advice. And so with that, what core message do you want to convey through your speeches?
My number one thing that I tell everybody all around the world is no matter what you've been through, no matter what challenges that you have faced or that you may face in the future, you can still follow your dreams. Like I said a second ago, you truly can't change the past, but you can change the future. And however you want to do that, just set those short-term, long-term goals, working with my company, Motivate LLC, and having speakers like me coming around and really telling our story and giving that really good leadership and those resilience, the resilience values that we continue to have in our life will ultimately get us and get you to where you want to be.
So what if there's different audiences? I know we were just talking about, something more energetic to the wrong person could be a hard no, and something a little low key is a hard no for somebody with more energy. So how do you tailor your speeches to meet the different audiences?
I've been lucky enough to go through a lot of different classes and have a lot of different mentors in my life. And the number one thing that I've always learned is mirroring. Mirroring is literally doing what the environment is, all right? So if I'm around somebody who's maybe a little shy, maybe a little more reserved, then I'm going to do the same thing. But if I have that person that's all energetic and uses a lot of hand movements, then I also need to do the same thing. So for example, if I'm going to go and speak to, maybe the elderly, if I'm going to go there, I'm not going to be as energetic, unless they're coming out and they're like, "Hey, let's do it, Daniel." Then I'm going to give them what they want. But it's really understanding the other person, understanding your audience and tailoring exactly what you want them, or tailoring your message to how they want it to be, because you're the one who's adding value and growing how they want to be their ultimate end goal.
That's awesome. Most people wouldn't recognize that.
Listening. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So maybe we should listen more than we talk. But at the same time, there's people like me who love to talk and utilize my mouth a lot more than my ears.
So the next question I have is, what advice would you give veterans and others that are struggling with challenges, especially with the holidays coming up?
That one really hit home right there. What advice would I give them? Go to the VFW, go to the American Legion, go anywhere and everywhere that has other like-minded individuals who've been around the same stuff or experienced the same things. Go to a church, go to the local city council, go to a police station, a fire station, the first responders. Go anywhere and everywhere that has a community that will welcome you in, because ultimately, I don't want you and I don't want any of those veterans anywhere around the world to be alone. And I know how it is during the holidays to be alone and live in that isolation, but you don't have to. You truly don't. There's people out there like me, people like you, who would love to invite them in and just say, "Hey, come and spend a little time together." But at the same time, those veterans, if you really want it, go out and get it, because it's not going to come to you. You actually do have to seek it out a little bit.
So I'm curious, how do you stay motivated with your own life?
So I stayed motivated with my own life because a couple of years ago, I had a medical episode and I died in the ambulance. When I woke up, I truly realized that life is too short. We truly only have one life. And then shortly after that, I had a nice elderly gentleman, Mr. John Coclaser. He told me, he was like, you're so young. And I was like, I am young. 38 years old and 37 actually, brain fart. So 37 years old, and Mr. John Coclaser, he said, Daniel, at 37 years old, that's only like a third of your life. You look at somebody who's 50 years old, that's only half of their life. Look at how wise they got for those first 50 years. Look at all the great things that you're going to do in the future for the next 50. So I'm going to live my life by kind of that advice that I got. I'm going to live it to its fullest each and every day because tomorrow's not promised. A lot of us people all around the world risk our life more by driving a vehicle, and that's more dangerous than doing a lot of other things. And if we're willing to risk our lives in little areas like that, maybe we should be a little more grateful and be a little more happy for what we do have, because there's people all around the world who literally don't have a cup to drink out of or some clean, palatable water. They don't have soy sauce. They don't have a nice wall or a wood. They don't have all this stuff. Sometimes it takes a little bit of traveling, a little bit of going around the world, a little bit of hardships for you to understand that life is too short and we should truly enjoy the simple wonders in life.
So that brings me to my next question, which is perfect. So how do you feel like gratitude and thankfulness ties into healing?
You have to be grateful. Every single morning I wake up, and I suggest everybody do this too. You wake up and think of all the things that you're actually grateful for. Don't grab that phone. Don't grab that remote to turn on the TV and the news. Just sit back, relax, do a little bit of meditation. And during that meditation, it's not going like this saying kumbaya, okay? We're talking about that good meditation, that's different from everybody. Maybe it's a prayer. Maybe it's saying the gratitude that you asked about. And for me, it's thinking about, thank you for giving me this breath, Lord. Thank you for allowing me to wake up. Thank you for allowing me to, experience the sun. A lot of times, like we said a second ago, you truly have to think about the little things in life, not those big end goals where we want to be. Look at what we already do have and how we got there, because that's most important, is that journey and continuing that journey of life.
Such a good good outlook on that. So how can society better support disabled veterans and the families?
I say this a lot. One of my buddies over in Lexington, Kentucky, actually, he came up with this saying, and it hit home to me. It's action over awareness. Okay, action over awareness. When you think about this, how can we help the military community? A lot of people are all about being aware of the situation, but there's no action behind that. So for example, everybody knows about 22 veterans, in their life on a day-to-day basis. And how can we really help them is letting them know that they're not alone. Number one, letting them know they're not alone, and giving them the tools and the resources, and really blasting it out there on all different types of social media and different marketing tools that we have, because a lot of veterans don't know the resources that are out there. A lot of them don't know that you can go fishing for free, go on vacation for free, go on little trips. I mean, there's so many programs and organizations out there, but nobody knows about them because of the marketing about it. So when it comes to the VA and comes to the community, I suggest that we do a lot more marketing to the military community so we can get the support that we need and ultimately end a lot of that 22 and helping veterans find their ultimate purpose, like, that mission that we had in the military.
It's good stuff. I'm getting ideas as you're talking. How do you celebrate your achievements?
Whenever you're asking some good questions here. So whenever I do get an achievement, a lot of times I'm alone when I get them. When I say alone, the most important people that I would like there aren't normally there. because of my schedule, along with my really good friends and family. So when I get those achievements, I celebrate them with my friends that are around there and in that little community. I think about them and really reflect on how I got there, because it's all about the journey, that journey of how you got to point A to point B. You know, we always have to reflect on what we've been through, and also analyze it so we can make it better in the future. Because if you're not adjusting each and every day, then you're really kind of stuck in that same old, life, and not improving yourself. So in the end, I look at my achievements, even the small ones, at the end of the night and saying, thank you for allowing me to get to point B, but also being aware that tomorrow I'm going to be a little bit better, and I'm going to try a little bit harder. And if I failed, it's okay. Acknowledge it. Try harder the next day. And if I did good, acknowledge that too. And still try harder, because you always want to be on that incline of improvement.
Absolutely. And so then I guess you find successes in every day, no matter how small or how big.
You know, even coming here, being able to sit here and talk, being able to articulate a story correctly, being able to just drink and lift this up, it's all these little things, right? Because right now I can hold this up for about 10 seconds, but I don't know about 10 more if I can. So I put it down just now because the pain started radiating. So it's all these little things, like, hey, I'm grateful that I can lift that up and put it to my mouth today. I may not be able to 30 minutes from now, an hour, tomorrow. I don't know.
Right.
But I'm going to live in the moment and enjoy it, and enjoy this nice glass of water as well.
What do you enjoy doing outside of your work?
So outside of work, I really love nature. Going out in the woods, the marsh, the lakes, fishing, hunting. It's just enjoying God's creation. When I say it like that, the reason why I love nature so much, okay, is nature has been through some rough things just like I have. So when you look at that tree who's been there for many, many years, it's been through rains, storms, hail, sleet, the wind shaking it. It's been around, all sorts of insects and animals eating and biting and all sorts of things, trying to live off of it and wanting to destroy it. So I kind of relate to nature in a way. So if nature's been through some struggles, and I've been through some struggles, and if nature can still be as beautiful as it is, so can I. So you can take that metaphor and really translate it to however you want to be. But the next time you walk down the street and you see a very, very, very busy street that has a sidewalk, and you see that one blade of grass sticking up, it's been through some stuff too. And maybe you should look at the simple wonders in life, because somebody could have stepped on that blade of grass. Somebody could have ripped it up. They could have put some chemicals on it being in a city, right? But it's still looking beautiful, and it's still thriving, just like each and every one of us should in life as well.
So I have one more question for you. Is there a story that you can share, or a moment when you realize the impact that your work is doing in the life of someone else?
So a lot of times I question, a lot of motivational speakers, a lot of influencers, they question sometimes, am I doing the right thing? Is it impacting somebody? And believe it or not, on all of our social media channels, the Fluffy Poodle on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, on all social media platforms, right? The Fluffy Poodle, shameless plug. We get messages all the time saying thank you. Thank you for giving me that little bit of hope, that little bit of inspiration, that little bit of saying that, hey, you know what I'm going through, I'm not alone. Because ultimately, you're not. I may have not have been through what you're going through, but there's somebody around the world who has. Now, can we link you guys up? I don't know, but let's try. Or let's try to lead you in the right direction. Let's try to lead you to getting help. So in the end, I understand the impact that I'm making by getting all these messages. And like my company's logo is, it's a guy helping one. Because if you can help one in your life, your mission's complete. But I know I'm helping more than one, so that's why I'm going to continue to help one at a time. And if that's that one small organization, big giant group, 100 million people, I only can use my voice one at a time. But those messages those interviews, those reviews, those comments saying thank you, I know it all makes it worth it.
That is awesome.
The Fluffy Poodle fell asleep and the interview is a wrap. With that being said, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. And we will see you guys on tomorrow's episode. Seriously, hit that thumbs up button, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Y'all have a good day. Bye-bye.